The Library Girl books, a 2-level English story. Daniel loved quiet places. That was why he visited the city library every Saturday morning. The library was not very big, but it felt warm and peaceful. There were tall shelves full of books, soft lights, and large windows that looked out onto the street. Daniel usually sat near the window with a cup of coffee and a book. He liked reading stories and studying there. The library helped him relax after a busy week at university. One Saturday, Daniel noticed something. A girl was sitting at the table near the window. She wore a light gray sweater and had a small notebook beside her. Her dark hair rested on her shoulders, and she looked focused on her book. Daniel did not think much about her at first. But the next Saturday, she was there again. Same seat, same quiet face, same little notebook. Daniel smiled to himself. Interesting, he thought. Soon, he realized something. The girl always arrived around 10 o'clock. She ordered tea from the small cafe inside the library. Then she sat by the window and stayed for hours. Daniel never spoke to her. He was shy. Still, he became used to seeing her. Sometimes he looked up from his book and saw her writing in her notebook. Sometimes she looked outside at the passing cars and rainy streets. And sometimes, for only a second, their eyes met. Then both quickly looked away. Weeks passed. Saturday became Daniel's favorite day. Not only because of the books, but because the library felt different now. Warmer. One rainy morning, Daniel arrived with his coffee and looked toward the window. The chair was empty. He checked the clock. 10 o'clock. Maybe she is late, he thought. He sat down and opened his book. But after 20 minutes, she still did not come. Daniel tried to focus on reading, but he kept looking at the door. That day, the girl never arrived. The next Saturday, Daniel came again, and again. The chair was empty. A strange feeling sat inside him. He did not even know her name. They had never spoken. Still, he missed her quiet presence. He missed seeing the notebook beside her tea. He missed wondering what she was writing. On the third Saturday, Daniel walked slowly through the library. He passed the history section and the novels. Then he heard a voice. "Excuse me, Daniel." It was Mrs. Green, the librarian. She was a kind woman with glasses and silver hair. Daniel smiled politely. "Hello, Mrs. Green." She held a small red notebook. "Someone left this near the window table," she said. "I think it belonged to that girl who used to sit there." Daniel looked surprised. The notebook looked familiar. "Did she come back for it?" he asked. Mrs. Green shook her head. "No. She moved away last week." Daniel felt disappointed. Mrs. Green handed him the notebook. "There is a note inside," she said. Daniel hesitated. He was not sure if he should open it, but on the cover, small handwriting said, "Please return if found." So Daniel carefully opened it. The pages were filled with short thoughts and little notes. Nothing secret, just simple feelings. He slowly turned the pages. One note said, "Libraries feel safe." Another said, "Rain sounds beautiful near windows." Daniel smiled. Then he read, "Some people become important without many words." He stopped for a moment. The words felt strangely personal. He turned another page. There were small drawings of books and coffee cups. Then he reached the final page. His heart suddenly beat faster. The message read, "To the quiet boy who reads near the window." Daniel blinked. He continued reading. "Thank you for making Saturdays feel less lonely." For a long moment, he said nothing. She had noticed him, just as he had noticed her. Mrs. Green smiled softly. "She asked me to give you the notebook if you came looking for her," she said. Daniel looked up. She did. Mrs. Green nodded. She moved to another city for work. Daniel looked down at the notebook again. Part of him felt sad, but another part felt warm. The girl had not been a stranger after all. Daniel closed the notebook carefully. "Can I keep it?" he asked. Mrs. Green smiled. "She said you may." Weeks passed. Daniel still visited the library every Saturday. He still sat near the window. The chair across from him stayed empty. But something had changed. One morning, he placed a small notebook beside his coffee. A new notebook. Sometimes he wrote short thoughts inside. Sometimes he drew little pictures. And sometimes he simply watched the rain outside the window. Before opening his book, he wrote one sentence. "Sometimes people change our lives without saying many words."